Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to this evening's webinar. My name is Michael Miner, and I'm the National Director of the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated Hope Health Ministry, and I'm so glad that you joined us on this evening. Tonight, we have a very special webinar planned for you, and we hope that you are so excited that those that are watching us on social media are sharing it. Those on Zoom are sharing the link with others so they can be a part of what we're going to be sharing on this evening. We trust everyone had a blessed holiday on yesterday, took it easy as we were celebrating Labor Day. We do want to take time out to acknowledge our national president, Dr. Boise Kimber. All right. This evening's webinar, wow, we have a very ambitious schedule tonight. Hope that you're ready to learn a whole lot. We're going to spotlight several key health services for September and preview our upcoming October campaign. We're going to begin this evening with Sisters Against Breast Cancer Campaign 2025, a powerful movement of support, awareness, and action. Then we're going to follow that with the Far West Region updates. Hear the latest from our regional coordinator. Then we'll go to our NBCUSA Hope Senior Recognition Sunday, which is the second Sunday, September 14th, honoring our seasoned saints. We're going to have a following update of our NBCUSA Hope app, explore new features and community tools. Of course, we got to say something about what's happening this month. This is Sickle Cell Disease Awareness Month and Sickle Cell Sabbath Sunday, which is the third Sunday, September 21st, raising awareness and faith-based support. And finally, this is also National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month, and we'll be sharing some tips that will help empower families with education and resources. So let's prepare to be uplifted, informed, and inspired to share with our communities toward better health and wellness. We want to remind everyone that this webinar is part of our continuing series of First Tuesday TempleCare Matters webinars. All right, as we always do, now it's time for us to provide our triple-demic update. On August 27, 2025, the FDA revoked the remaining emergency use authorization for COVID-19 vaccines. This marks a major shift in U.S. vaccine policy. Let's look at four key changes. Number one, healthy individuals under 65 now face more hurdles to access COVID-19 vaccines. Number two, vaccines are still available for high-risk groups, folks that are age 65 and older, and individuals 6 months to 64 years with at least one high-risk condition, for example, obesity or they are immunocompromised. Off-label use. Off-label use is possible. Doctors can prescribe vaccines to healthy individuals if deemed medically appropriate. And finally, healthy adults who have been vaccinated before can skip the shot unless they want to protect others of their household or decide after discussions with their doctor that vaccination is the best choice for them. So these were the key changes. Now there have been some concerns raised about these changes. First, access for healthy children. Access for healthy children is now limited, especially those under 2 years old. Pediatricians and public health experts warn this could confuse families and reduce vaccination rates overall. Insurance coverage, yes, insurance coverage may be affected, especially for those not officially recommended to receive the vaccine. Pharmacy access, and this is important because about 90% of the vaccinations for COVID came through pharmacy. Pharmacy access could be restricted in 18 states and the District of Columbia, where vaccine immunization administration is tied to the Center for Disease Controls and Prevention recommendation. The CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices has yet to issue updated guidance. So the next steps is that the FDA now will require robust clinical trials for future vaccine approvals for low-risk groups. And that is your update for COVID-19, but we do encourage you, if at all possible, to get your COVID-19 vaccination. Now, for this month's first special feature, As we enter Breast Cancer Awareness Month, for next, this preparation beginning of which is October is our Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated proudly presents once again the Sisters Against Breast Cancer campaign, a movement of faith, education, and solidarity. This effort is keeping with our national theme, changing the course, not our conviction. The gospel still works. In so doing, NBCUSA churches across the country are invited to lead with compassion, courage, and conviction. Tonight we are honored to welcome Lady Stella Bryant, National Chair of Sisters Against Breast Cancer, a movement rooted in faith, advocacy, and sisterhood. Lady Bryant serves as the First Lady of Antioch Baptist Church in the Liberty City neighborhood of Miami, Florida, where her husband, Dr. Jimmy Bryant, is senior pastor. Now, although she is a very wonderfully elegant First Lady, she is at hard at work in her church and in her community. A retired nurse and tireless community servant, Lady Bryant brings decades of compassion and leadership to every role she holds. At Antioch, she serves as president of the Mission Ministry and Nurses Guild, the coordinator for the Breast Cancer Awareness, coordinator for Faith Kids Bible Study. She's also a board member of Boaz Group Incorporated, community health and wellness coordinator for Florida East Coast, and a board member of the Florida Christian Association of America. Lady Bryant's work bridges the sacred and the social, the clinical and the communal. Her leadership in Sisters Against Breast Cancer uplifts survivors, educates congregations, and mobilizes faith communities to take action for wellness and equity. Welcome, Lady Bryant.
Good evening, NBCUSA family.
All right. Well, look, we got a lot to cover tonight, so let's get right to it. Right to it, Lady Bryant. What is Sisters Against Breast Cancer?
Okay, Sisters, SISTAS stands for Sisters in Step to Achieve Success Against Breast Cancer. It's a faith-based campaign that mobilizes our churches to raise awareness, honor survivors, and promote early detection, especially among Black women, which we know face a higher risk and later stage diagnosis.
All right. Well, you know, I didn't wear my Hope shirt tonight. I have my pink to get the men in the mindset and getting ready for next month. So I'm rocking my pink. Now, what is
Thank you.
I know it. Now look, we started this last year, but what's the theme for this year's campaign?
Okay, the theme of our theme for 25-26, our banner theme is Faith in Action, Stepping Strong Against Breast Cancer. And this campaign actually shows that the health ministry is not a departure from our faith, but it's an extension of our faith. Healing, justice, and wellness are gospel's work.
Amen. Amen. Well, you know, this is the question everybody want to ask. How can our NBC USA churches participate?
Great question. I'm glad you asked. We have a toolkit at our Hope website, and it contains many planning resources. And if using that toolkit, our NBC USA churches, they're engaged to through our theme Sundays, prayer circles, the walk and run fundraisers, and educational outreach. Each Sunday in October has a unique focus, and actually it starts September 28th would be our kickoff Sunday. Okay. So the last Sunday in September is our pre-kickoff awareness and preparation. Wow. And then the first Sunday, October 5th, is Sisters Sunday. It's our lunch and our solidarity.
Okay.
And then we have the second Sunday, which is October 12th, is Survivor Sunday. And I explain what happens on that Sunday later. Third Sunday, October the 19th, is Brothers Wear Pink. That's where we'll have our male engagement. Thank you, Dr. Minor, for showing men that they're only strong when they wear pink. And then on October 25th, all over our states, we want to have a walk, run fundraiser. That's action and to support. And then on the fourth Sunday, October 26th, would be the closing Sunday with reflections and commitment.
Wow.
On that fourth Sunday in October, I know already we have a guest speaker who's coming in, who will be the guest speaker that Sunday, and she is a breast cancer survivor.
Wow, that's going to be a powerful service. And we do want to remind everyone that they can go to our website and download the kit. And I'll do, just for those who may be running a little slow tonight, we'll put it in the chat, but we'll make sure people download the kit. And we got the Sister Stella approval on it. So we do appreciate her input and a valuable effort. All right, now let's go a step further. What worship ideas and scriptures are suggested for each Sunday?
Okay, in our toolkit again, each Sunday includes tailored worship elements such as pink theme services, survivor testimonies, even the pink altar cloths for the pulpit, prayer moments, and the scriptures that has been included in our toolkit is Isaiah 41st chapter 10th verse. So do not fear, for I'm with you. Mark 5th chapter 34th verse. Your faith has made you well. Hebrews 12th chapter 1st verse. Let us run with perseverance. And then Revelations 21st chapter 4th verse. He will wipe away every tear.
Wow. I mean, I could just do a whole sermon series just on those verses, and that's just thing for the services. So now any of the preachers, y'all want to roll with that and get that done, hey, we're not going to be mad at you. All right. Now, Sisters Lady Bryant, why is this campaign especially important for Black women?
This campaign is especially important for Black women because we face a 40% higher breast cancer rate than our counterparts, white women. And then we're more likely to be diagnosed with the aggressive form like triple negative breast cancer. Early detection and education save lives. So, you know, history has shown statistics that because we are diagnosed at a later stage, a lot of times we're in, stage 3, stage 4 by the time we're diagnosed. And that's why it's so important that we do education and teaching about prevention, early mammogram screening, and all of those things. Okay. At our church, they know in October, I'm going to be doing a poll of the church. I apologize, but all of the women, the question is, this is October, have you had your mammogram done? Raise your hand.
Okay.
Are you scheduled to have a mammogram done? Raise your hand. If you have not had a mammogram and you are not scheduled to have one done, raise your hand. And so those are the women that I take to the side, that we take to the side, and we have a discussion with them as to the reason why. Not before the congregation, but separately. And if money is a factor, then that's where we come in to help.
Wow. Okay. Well, I might get jumped on for do that, but I'm on that Sister Minor working our ladies at the hill. Okay, I like that. But talking about somewhere in my pink tonight, how can men support this campaign?
we want our men. That's why in the toolkit we are going to focus on men wear pink, because even though the statistics are higher in women, men can be diagnosed with breast cancer. They need to know about the education too, and that's why we want to encourage them to wear pink. They want them to share their support. They need to learn more about breast cancer and family health history, and they are vital to advocates in fighting for the women's health. And they can be such a support, especially a spouse, a husband who has a wife who's been diagnosed with breast cancer. If you more you learn about it, the more supportive you can be.
Okay, I like that. It does say for in sickness and in health.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Now, what is the purpose of the Sisters in Step Walk Run?
The purpose of that is that we want to encourage our churches to host a walk run on Saturday, October the 25th. We know that we hear all about the Coleman walks, the pink walks, but we want our Black churches to get involved so that we can show solidarity in having the walk. We want to this event to promote, first of all, physical activity, which reduces breast cancer risks, and raise funds for screening and survivor support. It's a celebration of community in motion. And I don't know, when you look at the statistics, 1 out of every 5, somewhere in your congregation, maybe a woman, I won't say maybe, probably is, who could be experiencing breast cancer, and they're very silent about it. So when they see that you're getting involved, maybe they will open up.
Oh wow, that's wonderful. Now let's go to this. What I think is going to be probably just a very touching, emotional, life changing, whatever you want to say it, Sunday, the closing Sunday on October 26th. And I am looking forward to seeing the pictures, videos, and others from that. Could you just share with what you envision happening across the National Baptist Convention on the fourth Sunday in October?
On the fourth Sunday in October, I can just envision all of our churches coming together on October 26th. It's a time for reflection, renewal, commitment. Churches can, speak on the impact of this campaign. They can honor those who have been lost to the disease. Have a speaker. And I know it's not hard to find a breast cancer survivor speaker for that Sunday, or the sermon is surrounded around breast cancer loss. Last year, we had at One Dimension, one of our members decided to give out cards. She had cards in the back in the fellowship hall. She had this nice board made, and it was one side she had a bouquet, the other side was a white one. And if you had anyone that you had lost to breast cancer, you write their name and you pin it under that particular bouquet. On the other side was pink for all breast cancer survivors. If you had anyone, knew of anyone, didn't have to be in your church. You wrote their names, and we have kept that. It is still up. And you're honoring those, keeping those memories, those who are still with us fighting the disease and those who was lost to the disease.
Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful. Well, look, how can we find out more resources, or how can we people want to get involved? How can they do that?
Again, you can go scan the QR code on our screen that will get you or the information that you need, the toolkit, or you can email info@hopenbc.com for information about the campaign, the materials, workshops, the insert, survival stories, and promotional graphics. And this is a great toolkit. I mean, it has everything, even a letter to the pastor of the church talking about this. It is a full toolkit. Actually, the work has basically been done. You don't have to think of the ideas. You can just incorporate them right into your service. And one thing I did not say, we may have some members on, that I am at the end of this month, I will be a breast cancer survivor for 5 years.
Woohoo! That's wonderful. That's wonderful. It's wonderful. Amen. And look, we're going to put in the chat, and also if you go to our National Baptist whole page, the toolkit's there. If you watch from your mobile device, if you go to the menu, just go to Sisters, S period, I period, blah, 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 Sisters, and you can do it, or you go to the website and download it. I would double dare you, and Sisters, Lady Brian would triple dare you to download it tonight and get it going. All right. Okay, now we covered a whole lot tonight. Lady Brian, is there anything else you would like to add?
I would just like to say that it is just so important that we take a part of this campaign to get the word out to and be a part. Let our church be an active part of this campaign, Sisters Against Breast Cancer. And I pray that everyone get the word out about the toolkit, because it is such an easy toolkit to use.
Right. And I would want to just let everybody know that we had just one little technical issue on the toolkit. Duke is actually, and thank you all. You know, something, Sister Stella, we got some folks that actually, you know, sometimes people just tell you that they paying attention, you know, and really, you know, they're just patronizing you.
Right.
But our folks are really on there, because they went out there, and we are updating it now for the okay. Duke is up there. He's gonna update it now, and it will be there. Wow, we have such a wonderful group of people. All right, Stella, we're gonna come back in a few minutes for the Q&A. But thank you so much for just your leadership and your energy for this effort. And the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated is a much better denomination because of leaders like yourself. Thank you so much. And hold on, we'll be back with you, circle back with you in our Q&A section. Okay. All right. Well, I want you to know together, we affirm that health ministry is gospel ministry. Through awareness, advocacy, and action, we step strong in faith, uplifting every story, every scar, and every survivor. Let's make this campaign be a reflection of our Christian love, our leadership, and our unwavering commitment in healing in our communities, especially our communities of color. We want to again thank Lady Brian for her leadership, and we look forward to your questions in the Q&A section. All right. Well, one of the reasons why our NBCUSA Hope Health Ministry has had so much staying power is our cadre of regional coordinators. We thought it'd be good for us to include one or more of our regional coordinators in our TempleCare webinars. And this evening, we're going to begin on the West Coast with our Far West region and Pastor Richmond Johnson. Pastor Johnson serves faithfully as the senior pastor of Mount Zion Baptist Church in Bremerton, Washington. He's also director of Partnering for Youth Achievement and moderator of Police and Community Together, where he champions youth empowerment and community collaborations. Married for over 50 years, bless her heart, to his beloved wife, I always mispronounce, but I think Arnetta Johnson. Pastor Johnson exemplifies commitment both at home and in ministry. He's a passionate advocate for the TempleCare and is fully committed to the Let's Move initiative, urging believers to transition from a sitting ministry to actively fulfilling the Great Commission and shape spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Humbled by the opportunity to serve, Pastor Johnson is honored to be a part of the National Baptist Convention Hope Health Ministry, continues lifelong mission to uplift communities and glorify God through service. Welcome, Pastor Johnson.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Mona. Thank you for the leadership. Thank God for your invitation. I give glory to God, to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Honor to our National Baptist Convention President, Dr. Boise Kimber, who I believe is doing a wonderful job already. Amen. And so thank you so much.
All right. Let's just jump right into it. Would you just share with us a little bit about what is the NBCUSA Hope regional structure?
Well, I believe the structure of our conventions, our health outreach, prevention education initiative, is organized to connect the whole country, and we have 7 regions that we impact: the Midwest region, the Northeast region, and then up here in the Far West region, the Southeast region, which is about 3 now. We got Southeast region. Well, we got Southwest region 1, and then we have Southwest region 2, and then we have the Northwest region. And these regions are actually aligned with our Sunday School Publishing Board regional approach. This structure ensures, I believe, a tailored engagement of connecting us, and it connects us with leadership development. That's basically where Dr. Mana has really been intentional in, and that starts with our including our regional meetings that we have frequently, and then focusing on our health ministry training across this whole country that has pushed us to wholeness health.
Wholeness. Okay. Well, you mentioned something about the regional meetings. What happens at the Hope regional meetings there, Pastor Johnson?
Well, these regional meetings take place in 7 cities across this country, and we normally use Zoom and Microsoft Teams, but under your leadership, the health ministries are totally focused on leadership training in health and collaboration. And we also have been very influential in our meetings in connecting with other nonprofits, and have developed a lot of resources that have caused us to have great workshops and opportunities to build regional coalitions and share best practices that was missing in the past. Recently, the New Beginnings training reached out in communities all over this country as we partnered with HHS, Human Health Services, on supporting those with type 2 diabetes.
Right.
And that training helped all who attended learn how to live better with diabetes. It's not a death sentence, really.
Right.
And so one of the things that we learned, I'm not going to be long on these answers, we learned how to manage stress.
Okay.
And stress is a normal part of our life. It's just that when we are overstressed, it causes mental health problems. And so we learn how to take time out for ourselves. And I'm coming up on your blind side, and push people to stop drinking. And I'm talking alcohol. And I know a lot of y'all don't want to say church folk are drinking alcohol. Because you got it in your covenant, abstain from alcoholic beverages. But I'm telling you, we got church folk that have pulled out what Paul wrote to Timothy, and Timothy was having problems with health. Paul said, just drink a little wine for infirmity's sake, not a lot of wine. You don't drink the whole bottle. You don't drink every weekend. You don't drink every day. But it's a problem because I'm seeing church folk get DWIs. And so if we have to address that. We have to address physical activity, and we do that. I mean, that's why I'm sold out to let's move, not let's sit. Okay, I'm gonna stop there.
No problem. But let's go somewhere. What are the states in the Far West region?
Well, in Far West, we have Alaska and Arizona. We have California, Nevada, Oregon, Utah, and Washington State. I have just shout out to our North Pacific Baptist Convention President, Dr. Robert Manaway, is making inroads to connect us with Oregon and Alaska. Pastor Willie Mitchell is at Bethlehem in Tacoma, Washington, and Pastor Frank Willoughby's East Side in Tacoma, and Dr. Frankie Coleman is with me in Bremerton, Washington, and we have Pastor Walter Kendricks that's in Spokane, Washington. My big brother know him quite well. And then Pastor Hillary Payne is Everett, Washington, and very supportive. We have a lot of support in Washington. Dr. Kelsey West, who's in charge in Nevada. And I hope if we got somebody from Nevada on, you'd put in the chat that I'm present. You Washington people ought to put in the chat that you own. Somebody ought to put in it. I need to know that y'all are here. And then Pastor Welton, president, he told me he was going to be on. He's in California. So if y'all could kind of put that in, I appreciate it. We're continuing to reach out to Utah. So if y'all got somebody in Utah, let us know.
All right. And look, I just want to say tonight that we're very appreciative of the job that Pastor Johnson does. The Far West has not been the strongest area for National Baptist churches, to say the least. But I want to let you all know he has been doing an able job, and we expect to, once a little smoke clears here in the next few months, to be having some discussion for additional resources out there. All right, but look, let's thinking about that and thinking about the challenges you have, and then the large area. What has inspired you most in your work with Hope?
Well, it would be you. I could probably stop right there because you are an inspiration. Your team is an inspiration. I mean, you've built a community. You've built a family. And, we ain't always had that reach. We go to the convention maybe twice and then we see each other. But this is community now. But one of the things that I want to just highlight is being able to address mental health issues. We hide that. We in the Black community, what happens in this house right. Until it make the front page or until somebody's in jail. And so one thing that you did at the start, even in COVID, where we were really struggling, you allowed us to have free youth mental health first aid training. And that just changed my paradigm. It changed my paradigm based on action plan from the acronym. I'm gonna get it right. ALGEE. I'm close. It's ALGEE, and that A stands for assessing for risk of suicide or harm. And we had suicide training, in the military. We had suicide training, when I became pastor. But it wasn't like you pushed it. You pushed us to understand that y'all was working on a suicide hotline. We had that. We didn't get that until just a few years ago. And that 988 number has been instrumental in helping me. Even a couple of months, somebody called and they was on the verge of just giving it up. And that 98 is not just for suicide. I mean, it's mental health. Whatever you're going through, they will hook you up with a crisis hotline. And then that L in ALGEE convicted me. Listening, non-judgmental. Because when people come with a problem, a lot of time I'm ready to solve it. I'm ready to say it ain't. You got to learn how to listen to people without judging them. Mm-hmm. Y'all don't think that's hard for y'all, but it was hard for me. But I'm learning. And then that G, give reassurance and information. Don't just pray for them and leave. You got to be connected, and then you got to keep them, connected to someone else. Because I don't give up on people, but I give people up to somebody else to help. Because I can only go so. And that first E is encourage appropriate professional help. Come on, y'all. We can't just cast out mental health in church. We can cast out demons, I know, but you got to get some people, some professional help. I'm telling you, I'm trying to be real with it. And then that last C is encourage self-help and other support strategies. And people just not helping themselves. And I like time church folk have pulled a scripture that I cannot find in the Bible. God helps those who help themselves. Yeah, he does. But God helps those who can't help themselves, and he puts us in position to help people. And we have to help people understand self-help. And I'm going to stop there.
All right. Well said. We appreciate that. Well, how has your church and community work helped you in leading the Far West region?
Well, it's the information piece. You know, for so long, our health ministry was centered on maybe we'd do something once a year, and then we'd make sure we'd help people with their blood pressure. You know, we Pastor Montgomery will tell you it was a paradigm shift when we found out we could teach people how to check their own blood pressure. Okay, and then we have a news reporter editor that's just sold out to every month, and Sister Linda Yeager, she makes sure she puts something about the news about health ministry in that newsletter every month, and we've also partnered with Kitsap Public Health District, and we meet with other organizations and local churches where we like in our Ebenezer District Association, our convention, where we're promoting health wholeness. But when I became pastor 17 years ago, we had a problem with youth being profiled, and so that's what pushed us to start Partnering for Youth Achievement (PYA), and then in school. But then we decided that we need to work with the police. And so we started PAC, Police and Community Together, where we began to push police as neighbors. Because it's a challenge when police come in your community because of 911 and you don't know them, and they come in there, they're already on a high level of getting ready to do something to somebody. And so they know you and you know them. You know, that's healthcare right there. So your anxiety level go down. That's Jim. Hey, Jim, let me tell you what's going on. And so we meet with community and police to build safer relationships, and we promote the concept of neighbor. And that goes back to self-care, because Jesus said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your spirit. And then he said, love your neighbor as your self. You got to love yourself. A lot of people, they just don't love themselves. They're giving up on themselves. That's why they can't help nobody else. And so we had these meeting resources from our Hope Ministries always included. And when we was actually sending out the pictures, we make sure that we take some of those pictures that our faithful news editor put in the Zion Report and sending y'all, showing y'all that we work with the police are our friend.
Great pictures, great pictures. All right, well, what role does this, and I think this is important for us to share, what roles does the Far West region play in health innovation?
Well, the Far West team during COVID is where we really got that zeal, and we supported the All of Us research program, which aims to provide individuals with portable, personalized medical records for better treatment and outcome when they move. And even now, I'm calculating going down there with just Dr. Linda Cobb, going down to Texas, and I want my medical records to go with me. It's amazing when you go to a doctor, they don't know nothing about what happened in the past. And so our team, under your leadership, connecting with All of Us Research, helped host the traveling educational exhibit. I'm saying it right, exhibit from All of Us Research in Seattle. And back then, our Christian Congress leader was Minister Wilhelmina Daniels. She made sure she supported that. And then we had it in Tacoma. Pastor Frank Willoughby made sure right at the church, and we had it in Nevada. Is my good friend on Dr. Kelsey West? Did you get on? Did you gonna say anything, Dr. West? You can put some in the chat. I want to make sure you got some folk in, and so we thank God for our Spokane pastor, our friend, Dr. Pastor Kendrick in Spokane supported All of Us Research as well.
All right. Well, how has collaboration shaped Far West success? You talk about that. How does it shape your success and things? And you all have been very successful. And I would add, been more successful than any other national health initiative we've ever done for the National Baptist.
Yeah, I'm glad to see my daughter's on. She said she was going to be on, and I know First Lady, it's Arnita Johnson. I need her. She's on, and so our churches have active health ministries that address the monthly health focus. We always did that. Not just an event once a year. I said that. And so this month, like you already talked about sickle cell, we have seen a change. It wasn't a whole lot of traction until you got involved, your team got involved with pushing sickle cell awareness. And all of a sudden now we got some cures coming up. We got some medicine coming up. And so because we have a voice, and that's what Hope does, gives us a voice all over the United States. And then we got Age Awareness Day coming up, and so I'm seeing how you have pushed us to address all ages, because we got to understand ACS is not just dealing with this generation. Adverse childhood experiences have impacted all generations. We still trying to deal with some stuff that we grew up with, and we need to come together. And okay, I'm going to stop there.
All right, but I appreciate the passion. Well, look, we talked about all this thing. What's next for the Far West region?
Well, I believe the best is yet to come. With Jesus Christ as the center, the Far West is committed to expanding health equity, supporting research, and empowering churches to be agents of healing, hope, and change.
All right. Well, look, we've covered a whole bunch tonight. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we move on?
Well, I just want to thank God once again for your passion, and then your First Lady, Sister Mount, slows you down, because I know you tried to wear too much, and just appreciate how you created a team of coordinators that work together. We love each other too. We get along, and a staff that's focused on connecting our whole country. And my big brother, Pastor Bernard Montgomery, has been influential in keeping me focused. He keeps it real, along with others on the team, and he's your assistant. Dr. Linda Copper is an anchor for the coordinators, I believe, and well respected, because you're not going to answer the phone calls, but she will. I'm just throw that in there. And so respect. We really respect her. She well respected. So respect a lot of time is overrated. And I'm here today to tell you, as I conclude, there is a difference in respecting people and having respect for people. And so respecting people is often limited to individual acts like I'm being polite. But respect for people is proactive, it's intentional. And Dr. Mana, you have built respect for people in hope, health, outreach, prevention, education. And for this, I thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Pastor Johnson. And he didn't want to say it, but now when the financial resources flowed, we didn't leave all of them in the South. We made sure they made it always. Sometimes the financial resources stopped somewhere by the Rocky Mountains, but they flowed all the way to the Far West. Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
I didn't want to say that. I forgot.
That's all right. No problem. Yeah. Now look, we're gonna do it, and we'll feel some question and Q&A period. And look, thank all those folks from the Far West that joined us. And we wanted to start with you all first. So bless you. All right. So Pastor Johnson will come back to us at the end, our Q&A. But look, we're gonna go on to our next spotlight as part of the National Baptist Convention Senior Recognition Sunday. That service is on September 14th. The Fit for Service Ministry of the National Baptist Convention is spotlighting the real challenges and opportunities facing our senior members, from chronic health conditions and rising medical costs to social isolation and housing insecurity. Older adults in our congregations and communities deserve compassion, support, and practical solutions. You know something? We are fortunate to have one of our very own, Dr. Linda Copper, to share with us. Dr. Copper is our National Seasoned Saints Health Fit for Service Coordinator, and she also has the job of ensuring that Pastor Richmond Johnson stays in line. No, I didn't say that. Anyway, here we go. Dr. Copper. Welcome, Dr. Copper.
Thank you, Dr. Vino. Pastor Johnson, we love you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Minor. Yes, September 14th.
All right. Well, look, now in this segment, we want to offer some insights into the issues that our seasoned saints face. And outline how our churches across the National Baptist Convention can play a vital role in supporting wellness, connection, and dignity for every seasoned saint. Now, let's start with health and healthcare. What are the most common health challenges facing our seniors, Dr. Copper?
Now, many of our seniors, or many of our seasoned saints, as I'm about to say, many of our seasoned saints are dealing with some chronic conditions, and they are arthritis, heart disease, cholesterol, diabetes, and they are great testimonies to us of God's grace and mercy. But these are some chronic conditions that we see within our seasoned saints community, within our faith-based community as a whole.
Well, why is healthcare access difficult for so many seniors?
The rising cost of healthcare, making sure that insurance transitions with Medicare and Medicaid. Many people, if you're not dealing with it on an individual basis, you're dealing with it as a caregiver, and making those transitions, that time frame it can be a little hectic and a bit frustrating. But we do have assistance. We have navigators that can help us, guide us through working through making transitions for our health, what works for us, and our medical condition.
All right. Well, how does aging affect physical ability?
Well, many of us, many seasoned saints deal with mobility issues, vision issues, reflexing, making sure that they get to where they need, because sometimes they are not able to drive anymore. Here in the Houston area, we have what we call Metro Lift, but many times individuals may live in a rural area, or may not live close enough to where they can get to a medical facility. And if you have individuals in your family who are working, and many times seasoned saints do not want to be dependent upon other people. They want their independence, and we want them to have that independence.
Let's go a step further than that. Let's deal about the social and emotional well-being, since you brought that up. Why is loneliness a serious issue for older adults?
Now, many times, as they think about aging, many people that they've connected with have gone on, have passed on. Many do build relationships with the next generation, but to have that connection where it was a friend that I was with for 30 years and now they're gone, it's taken an adjustment period. And sometimes they don't always adjust at the same time. And so we want to check on our seasoned saints and want them to know that we care for them, and that someone else is available to talk with if need.
All right. Well, what causes seniors to feel disconnected from their communities?
It's their lack of transportation sometimes, and sometimes it's just their moment of remembering what was and not wanting to go forth. We have so many resources for our seasoned saints in the faith-based community. And with Hope, we remind our churches to celebrate our seasoned saints. Again, they're a great testimony of God's grace and mercy, and they remind us of that, even with their chronic conditions. So we want to celebrate them, and we want them to know that we care for them. And in doing so, many times, if in their mind, there's like, oh, I'm too old to do this. Well, who told you that? God didn't tell you that. So we encourage them to.
Okay. Well, speaking of, let's go a step further and talk about financial and housing challenges for our seasoned saints. What are the major financial struggles that our seniors face?
We're seeing now that many of our seasoned saints are dealing with housing issues. We know gentrification is taking place all over. And when we talk about affordable housing, when we talk about the fact that you bringing in $1,800, but your rent is $900, a seasoned saint who may have had a house at one time for some reason now has to live in a facility that they're not comfortable with, because again, they like that independence. And so we want to make sure that we're available to help guide them. especially in this day and age of different facilities, different income levels are based on those housing situations that they may find themselves in.
Well, what are some other issues? We talk about housing. Are there some other issues that the seniors face when it comes to housing?
Yeah, many seasoned saints do get scammed.
Mm,
Many seasoned saints do not share their business. Their, like Pastor Johnson mentioned, what stays in this house, that seasoned saint is not going to always share with you their business. So if something is happening even with a reverse mortgage, with foreclosure, many of them end up at the very last minute at the stage of not only foreclosure, but their income level, not sharing. And if, as a family member, you're not reaching them in that aspect, because they're not going to share that information willingly. But the housing situation, the medication, they're having to decide, should I get my medicine or should I get food?
mm.
And many times that is hard for us to understand. But when you have limited income and not knowing, oh, if I don't take this medicine, of course, diabetes is one big issue, but we have to provide, we're wanting to provide for our seasoned saints. And in doing so, we're helping ourselves.
Amen. All right, let's talk a little more about safety and security. Okay. What are the biggest safety risks for our seasoned saints?
The safety risks that our seasoned saints are dealing with a lot of times is knowing what partner agencies to deal with. We speak about the scamming, and we speak about those individuals coming or calling individuals, and they're
Mm,
not familiar with the digital age. I mean, we're just learning the digital age. But the seasoned saints, if you're talking about texting and someone calling you over and over again,
oh, yeah, yeah.
those robocalls, and the seasoned saints don't want their phones to ring 3 and 4 times. We turn our phones off. They'll answer the phone
That's
and
right.
hear this nice voice on the
Yeah,
other end. I
yeah.
can come visit you. And what do you end up doing? Signing for some things that you don't even realize. And again, it's that trust too that they provide, that they're giving their trust over to someone who's there to scam them. And so we want to make sure that we are reaching out to them and sharing with them, asking them to let us help them.
All right. Well, what's the leading cause of injury for our seasoned saints?
False,
Oh,
false,
falls.
false, false.
Uh,
Please take care of your senior season saints and then remind them, take it slow. You do not have to rush. It's okay if you walk slow. If someone needs to go around you, baby, you can go right on. You want to make
Right.
sure that you are careful, because many times when our seasoned saints fall, they end up breaking a hip, a
Yeah.
leg,
Yeah.
knees. And it's not always easy to recover. They
Right.
don't recover as quickly. And that's just not with seasoned saints. But falls are so detrimental many times because the seasoned saint wants to get back to where they were. I didn't walk this fast. Oh, I didn't move this fast. Uh, but you're moving, so it's okay. So we
It's
want
okay.
them to have a safe environment.
All right. All right. Now we've discussed many challenges for our seasoned saints, Dr. Copper. Now, what can churches do to help when it comes to health and wellness? Let's start with health and wellness first. And
Yeah.
let's what about health and wellness and social connections when it comes to our seasoned saints? What can our churches do?
Now, our churches can help our seasoned saints because many of them are still in that learning stage, and they will take you up on your offer if you're willing to help them get on Zoom, call into Zoom, so that they can not only listen to Bible study, but guess what? We can also do health information webinars so that they can learn even more about how to protect themselves. You can do your wellness workshops, provide transportation, and connect them with reliable transportation services, and then offer the Medicare, Medicaid navigation, and provide it on site and then as a webinar so that they can have others to reach out to.
Okay. What about the social connection? What can we do about help with the social connection for our churches?
Now, social connection, we're all social beings, and our seasoned saints love to socialize. They really do. And provide a quilting or gardening, provide opportunities for them to not only socialize with their own age group, but even the younger group. Call them. They'll be more than willing to share with you their gardening tips or their quilting tips, even their cooking tips, because that way you're providing a resource not only for our seasoned saints, but for our young people, mid teens, the middle agers, the baby boomers, and the Generation Z. Everybody gets a chance to participate when we provide something that we all can. And yes, I see game days. Our seasoned saints love bingo.
Well,
If you
forget
give
about
them prizes,
bingo.
yeah,
We had a rise and fly spades contest, and the 80-year-olds were kicking butt.
they get excited about that bingo, and they love games and they love
Yeah.
prizes.
Right.
But so keeping them all socially active, and in our faith-based community, we can all, because they want to socialize more than just on Sunday.
Right. What
They
about
want
housing and safety? What can we do for our churches to help them with the housing and safety area?
with the housing and safety area, reach out to your city governments, reach out to your other local agencies. We have United Way, we have the Area on Aging Agency, we also have AARP. These are national organizations, so that wherever you are, no matter what city and state you're in, there's someone that can help direct you to other resources to help with our seasoned saints, and also to let them know that there are additional resources to help their family members.
Okay. What about financial and resource support? Is that something that what can we do more as churches to help our senior citizens in that area?
Invite our banks and financial institutions out. Do you know banks really will come out and provide community service, financial literacy workshops? Many times we hesitate to reach out to the banks or reach out to the credit unions because they're like, oh, they're going to want this, they're going to want that. They actually want to come out and provide literacy education workshops for us. We have to reach out and let them know. And even, yes, I see you, Dean Durant, our power of attorneys. We have legal services that are available, but we have to reach out to our universities, reach out to organizations who are willing to come to the faith-based community and provide this. And again, it is going to take time. It's going to take time, and it's going to take resources on our end in making sure that we get a reputable organization to help our seasoned saints.
All right, we covered a whole lot. Is there any other thing that you want to add, or are you going to wait till the Q&A?
Well, I do want to add, use our AARP website. And then if you have not joined any of our Fit for Service webinars, please mark your calendar for Friday, October 17th. Yes, it's a Friday at 6:30 p.m. We've been having our quarterly Fit for Service webinars where we invite individuals on to talk about issues that deal with our seasoned saints.
Scan the QR code. That is up there. Scan the QR code.
And we talk about with October, Medicare and Medicaid. We plan to have a representative on, and we want to encourage churches to connect. At GFB, we have our trendsetters, and they keep us busy because they let us know what it is they want. So ask your seasoned saints, what do you want somebody to come in and from the Arthritis Foundation to share with you some chair exercises? Do you want someone to come in and just remind you as a seasoned saint, no matter what age you are, you can still move? You may move slow, but you can still move.
All right.
So
Well,
we want to
look.
encourage that.
All right. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Copper. We're gonna field some
My
more questions
pleasure.
in the Q&A. So thank you, Dr. Copper. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Job well done. Look, real quick, we want to just squeeze right in. We want to hear about this app. Since Dr. Copper talked about technology, Brother Duke, can you give us a quick update on our app, our National Basketball app, a bio tool for staying connected, informed, and empowered in our ministry work?
Good evening, everyone. I'm just here to give you a 30-minute promotion about the app. Download the app. If you go to hopenbc.com and scroll down to maybe the third section, you'll be able to download that app. It'll look like that blue background that I have on the screen right now. So for my Apple users, you can download it from the Apple Store, and my Google Play users. And I want to say we're only 2 days in September and we've already had 10 downloads. So kudos you guys. And also the summer was the best view so far. And I guess you guys really missed us in July because we had the highest viewership since the app launched 4 years ago. So
Wow.
thank you for that. And once again, it is free of charge in the Apple Store and as well as the Google Play Store. So please take a moment right now and just go and download it. And it is, once again, free of charge. Thank you, Dr. Minor, for that.
All right, thank you there, Brother Duke. All right, remind everybody again that September, it is what? It is Sickle Cell Disease Awareness Month. And our last call, Dr. Janice Nelson, the chair of our Sickle Cell Awareness Month, she shared a very insightful overview of this critical health issue. We want to remind everyone that the third Sunday of September, the third Sunday of this month, is designated as Sickle Sabbath Sunday across the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated. This National Faith Day is a time for congregations to raise awareness about sickle cell disease, encourage charitable giving, host educational activities in partnership with the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America, and do more than just talk with action. We had one little change we had to make on our toolkit. We apologize, but within the half hour of the night's webinar, the updated toolkit will be available for download. You can download the toolkit and have the information you need. And also, we'll see you there in Kansas City. So let's stand together in faith and action and support of those affected by sickle cell disease. All right, now we move to our final feature for this call, Childhood Obesity Awareness Month. We're truly blessed to have, again, one of our own, Sister Nettie Johnson, a certified, not some Rudy Poop now, a certified national fitness coordinator, and she even looks the part. Sometimes folks that's got fitness, you have to wonder, joining us to share insights and strategies for promoting healthier lifestyles among our children and family. Sister Nettie, the floor is yours.
Dr. Minor, oh my goodness. Thank you so much for this time to share. Do we have JPEGs or yes? Oh, you all are awesome. Good evening, National Baptist. And we're going to just take a couple of moments to talk a little bit about the fact that September is National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month. It's a time set aside to discuss this growing health crisis. Truly, it is a crisis. To look at some of the causes, the consequences, and some practical things that we can do to help shift that tide in the direction that it's going. And so we're going to take just a few moments to do that tonight. On the next slide, we see what is the actual clinical definition. Clinicians use the BMI or the body mass index scale to determine a diagnosis of both overweight and obesity. It's a different scale than what is used for adults, and it also has some percentile adjustments, not only for the age of the child, as well as the sex of the child. And if any of you have been in the pediatrician with little ones anytime, you know that every time you go, they're charting the child's height and weight on a graph, and they're looking at where they fall in percentiles. So if they are at or above the 95th percentile, that does categorize in the area of obesity. And then you see that there are other ranges, for example, 85 to 94 would be in the overweight. On the next slide, we want to look a little bit about the prevalence of this. And it's very interesting that we see approximately 1 out of 4 children, particularly when we look in African American or Hispanic groups, 1 out of 4 have the condition of obesity. And on the next slide, one thing that I thought was really interesting is the increase in this prevalence. I was a child in the 70s, and I was an overweight child at that time. And when I was little, it was only about 5%. And I can remember, being teased and not seeing, many children that had weight issues as I did. But notice where we are now. This red bar that you see on the right, this is where we are using CDC data based on our data that we have here in 2024. More than 400% increase from just those many years ago, just one, possibly 2 generations back. So we see that there is a tremendous and disturbing rise in not only the weight issues of adults, but also for our children. On the next slide, we look at why this is something that we want to be concerned about, because childhood obesity has some really significant possible risks and consequences. For example, children that have the condition of obesity have a higher risk or prevalence of developing conditions that typically in the past we only thought about with older adults. Things like diabetes. We now have younger children getting diabetes, asthma. I had asthma as a child, and sometimes there is a stronger connection with overweight connected with that. Things like sleep apnea. And we're even seeing some markers for cardiovascular disease, which in adults is the leading cause of death and disability in the United States. So we're seeing in younger children these increased markers of risks that can be connected to overweight. Aside from the prevalence of the physical things, we also have mental and things that do impact the mental health of some of our young people. Things like self-esteem issues, anxiety, depression. Y'all know kids can be mean, kids can be cruel, the bullying, all of those types of issues can sometimes impact our young people's mental health. And we also do find that when children have obesity when they are youth, when they're children, that sometimes that tracks and it translates into issues in adulthood. For example, adults that were obese as children, they tend to have higher lifetime medical expenses, oftentimes connected to one or more chronic diseases and conditions. They can also have impacts that are economic or social mobility related because of the stigmas and the things that are just still unfortunately so entrenched in our economic educational systems. So it can have a number of effects that not only impact them physically, but also mentally, economically, socially, and so on. On the next slide, we want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we can do to address it. And I don't want to go into a lot of detail in the interest of time, but on the myplate.gov website, our national nutrition director, Sister Ellen McKnight Hill, often points us to MyPlate. And there is a very specific section there that has education and information about helping our children to eat well. And I just really love to summarize it very simply. It's what Michael Pollan says about how to eat well. And he says, eat food, mostly plants, not too much. The eat food part is important because if we look at what we feed our children, and the key words there are we feed our children because our 5 and 6 and 3-year-olds are not feeding themselves. A lot of it is not really food. It's a food-like substance. It is so highly processed, so full of chemicals, so far from God's hand of creation and what he has given us in natural foods that are healthy for us, that if we could shift and give kids more natural foods and things that are not so processed, that could be a big help. We're grateful to see that there are some upcoming legislation as well as some individual decisions that large corporations are making to remove some of the dyes and the colorings and these things that are legal in other parts of the world and so prevalent here in the United States. But until that happens, we can make those choices. The other thing is to eat a lot of plants. We know that when on my plate, they said that more than half of that plate should be filled with plant-based foods, and then not too much, to exercise portion control, because anything in excess can be too much for us. So there's a website there. It's at myplate.gov. And if you go to life stages and look under kids, there's a lot of information. A lot of these things we know, but it's good reminders for us to help to kind of turn the tide as it relates to childhood obesity. On the next slide, we also do have a lot of information that is available around activity. That is another very important thing. And the CDC does recommend that our children get at least 1 hour, that's 60 minutes, of physical activity per day. We know young kids, their bodies are made to move fast. You know, as we get older, we tend to slow down, but our kids have all of this energy. And y'all think about how our educational systems, and we even mirror this in church. How often do we tell kids, sit down, be still, stop moving, don't move, you know what I mean? And they're sedentary and they sit. We're seeing that some school systems don't mandate physical education. So if we can get our kids moving, where does that come from? Let's move and keep them moving. It's for adults, as all of us. That can be a big help. And again, if you go to CDC physical activity guidelines, there's a section for children there. But in closing out, y'all, I want to look at just a couple of other things that we can do. Can we go to the next slide? A big problem that we have. And this is not something that we can do to start, but it's actually a pullback, and that is to reduce screen time. Y'all, our kids spend incredible amounts of time in front of a screen, phones. I'm amazed at the babies, toddlers that have phones, that have tablets, that are constantly on these screens. We use them as a babysitter. And it's causing not only issues because there's so much input coming into developing minds that scientists do not yet know how this is impacting the neural pathways of our children. We have to wait a couple of more decades to see children that have been totally raised on this technology overload, what it's going to do for them when they're in their 40s and 50s. We're getting close to that part. But y'all, not only do we not know neurologically, as it relates to obesity, it causes them to be more sedentary, and they're also being bombarded with messaging that promotes things that are not healthy, unhealthy foods, all kinds of things that are doing there. So the American Pediatric Association has recommended that for our children less than 2, y'all listen to this, they recommend 0 screens. 0 screens for that 15-month-old, that 1.5-year-old. They said they should not be on screens at all unless they are doing a FaceTime to another human. My Lord, we need to stop binding and connecting our children to inanimate technological objects, and we need to connect to people. And so they say less than 2, they recommend no screen time at all. Between 2 to 5, 1 hour per day. And above the age of 6, they say that it should be limited logically, such that it does not do things like interfere with their sleep, 9 to 12 hours per day if they're under 12, 8 to 10 if they're a teenager. It doesn't interfere with them getting that 60 minutes of physical activity. It doesn't interfere with their schoolwork. Understanding that they do use it for schoolwork and education, a lot of this time that we are doing and allowing our children and promoting and even encouraging our children so they can sit down, be quiet, and not bother me, come on now, and hand them a tablet. We need to look at what we are doing, because again, the stewardship of these children, these souls that God has blessed us to nurture, is our responsibility until they reach a certain age. Let's take a look at the second thing that we can do, y'all. The second thing that we can do is we can live a healthy example, not only before them, but with them. Y'all, we tell our kids stuff, and we know that this goes in so many areas of life. Our kids are somewhat like those in Missouri. They like, show me. Like, you can tell me this, but what are we actually doing? So these things about eating healthfully, these things about moving, involve our children. I showed a couple of examples because, as I mentioned, I was with the condition of overweight and obesity. I also had exercise-induced asthma. Y'all, I literally thought I was allergic to exercise. I was sedentary. My husband had that as well. And so in my mindset, I could go and say, you know what? It's in my genes. Many people in my family had this condition. But can y'all put in the chat really quickly, biology is an aspect of it, but what percentage of our health is actually due to our biology and our genes? Can y'all just pop it into the chat real quick? Just throw some numbers. I'm just really curious. We're getting ready to close out. Can anybody tell me what percentage do you think it is? I'm seeing some 30%, 20%. Okay, 30, 20. Did you all know that according to the social determinants of health, only 10% of our health is due to our genes and our biology? We can't change that part, but my Lord, it's only 10%. On the flip side, when we combine these aspects, culture, our social norms, economics, and our health behaviors, those elements together is 70%. So a lot of times when we say things like, oh, it just runs in the family, yes, it runs in the family's habits, not in the family's genes. There's a bigger impact on these things that we can change when we see it as a way of stewarding not only our bodies before our children, but helping to teach our children to steward theirs by doing things in front and with them. That means exercise with them. Take them with you when you're little. One of the most critical things that I think that we can do that helps so many things is just go for a walk if you are physically able with your children. It helps on a psychological aspect in addition to helping them to get that 60 minutes. It binds families. There have been studies that show so many wonderful benefits, but look at what ways can we connect and show and garden or cook together or just do things with our children. So we're not just giving them some information that they don't see lived out in any practical and consistent way. And then the last thing on the last slide that I really do recommend that we do is that we also take a look at where we have influence so that we can focus community and faith-based support on healthy living behaviors. Remember, we got to change some of these cultural norms. We have to look at some of the things that the behaviors are, that 70% part. We can impact that. What's being served in our schools' lunches? Have we been down to the schools? Have we talked to the school boards? Have we looked online when they post what has been being fed to our children? Do we write a letter? Do we call someone? Can we influence those types of decisions on what our kids are being fed at school? Can we make some decisions and some changes to bring in healthier options in our neighborhoods? And here's one as I want to close. Let us as churches look at what we are feeding our children at VBS, after worship, after Sunday school. Are we giving them little bottles of sugar? You know, those little small bottles of sugar sometimes have 12 to 15 teaspoons of sugar. Shook up is high fructose corn syrup, but that's the equivalent. We give that to them with some chips or some Cheetos or Takis and then tell them to go sit down and be still somewhere and listen. Can we examine with a focus on stewardship how we can promote living well, because God desires that we be well and we be in good health. And to the best of our abilities, we know these earthly houses are going to soon decay, but the things that we can do, God is calling us to do. And as those who not only have children, but have influence over children, it's our responsibility to take these very doable steps to help God's children in our influence to be well. So if there are any questions, I'll take them at the end when everybody else is taking questions, but that's the end of the presentation. And I hope that information was helpful.
As always, Sister Nettie, you knocked it out the park. And she doesn't tell it, but her kids keep her rolling too, because they're very active.
Yeah.
Active as well. All right, so thank you. Thanks, Nettie. And any question, we'll come back around to it. Thank you so much for sharing tonight. All right, so thank you. Valuable, empowering information for our NBCUSA family. Now we want to invite everybody to join us next week in Kansas City for our National Convention annual session. Be sure to stop by our annual session health fair to learn more about the impactful work of your NBCUSA H.O.P.E health team. And we also remind everybody that we'll say again in our next call, but we look to see many of you all in the Midwest in Chicago, October 23rd. Sister Teresa Fells Farr and the Pastor Wallace Mills have a great session outlined for us. And if you're in the Chicago area, make sure that you reach out if you want additional information. You know what the deal. info@hopenbc.com, and we'll make sure Sister Teresa shares the information with you. I have Ambassador training reminder to receive credit for NBCUSA Hope Health Ambassador certification. Email info@hopenbc.com to register. Request the lesson training guide. Complete the training survey, and including the email subject line, NBCUSA Hope Health Ambassador Training. What's coming up again? September Health Services. This is National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month, Sickle Cell Disease Awareness Month. Second Sunday, Senior Recognition Sunday. Third Sunday, Sickle Sabbath Sunday. Let's continue to move forward in faith, health, and service. Of course, you can download the complete list of annual health services from our website at hopenbc.com, and we will be sharing our 2026 list of health services at the annual session next week. Additional information you can find at our Hope website. We've covered much this evening, but the best part is coming now. We want to hear from you. It's time for our Q&A, and we're going to have an abbreviated Q&A period, and we'll stay on for those that are watching on Zoom. The best part is coming now. We want to hear from you. It's time for our Q&A period. You may type in the chat or raise your virtual hand for those watching on social media. We'll do our best to capture your question. A couple of questions already come in. People are just floored by the Q&A that Sister Copper and I did, and want to know, can we make that as a handout or a flyer? I'll get with Duke, Sister Copper. We'll see what we can do and get that packaged up and get out. So I'm making a note now for Sister Copper to get that done.
Okay, and we'll provide 2026 dates along with that. So we're so close to 2020.
All right, look, all right, Duke, you can bring it back up on screen. That was the first question that we had, and I think Duke was typing in the chat. We did correct we did make the correction on the toolkit for the sisters, and we did upload the toolkit for sickle cell awareness month, so you can have that available as well. All right. Wow, Pastor Johnson. So Pastor Johnson asked us, so really the National Baptists really did some things in the far west. Go ahead and respond. If you already said it, just say it again. Because it's surprised we did something that far west.
Yeah, that's if you're in the far west and you have a pastor, I need to know your pastor's name, because you're supposed to know that we did something in the far west, and asked all you all to be a part of it. And we actually trained health ambassadors and all the churches that were willing. And we also during that COVID was able to give out finances to help the health ministries. And so I need to know your pastor, whoever asked that question.
That was being rhetorical. They were being rhetorical. But the thing
they're trying to be funny, see? Y'all trying to be like me. I got a sense of humor.
All right. So, but the bottom line is, everybody, that is the far west is our probably our biggest untapped market. A lot of resources. So please, if you know somebody in the far west or state's name, please reach out to Pastor Johnson. We are ready, willing, and able to. We'll fly out there necessary to support him and that, and what we're trying to do. We need your support in the far west, so we can tap into some of those resources. Let's make him busy. Okay. For Sister Netter, I got it right. She makes you better, Sister Netter? Okay. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, they asked about the swag. Yeah, we do have some swag for the sisters. So you can go, I think that's information on the website. You can email info@hopenbc.com. There will be some t-shirts that will be limited number available next week in Kansas City. You also can order some t-shirts. You can order a full swag kit, or you can order the t-shirts separately. But just email, and we do ask that you do that like this week. because with the mail and everything, get those out. We love everybody to have, and they have the same logo that you saw on the toolkit. So get your, we got the hats, caps, pins, lapel pins, and have some swag bags. Okay. Oh wow, Lady Bryant. So that they wanted to know how helpful was your husband when you were going through your journey.
He was very helpful. As a matter of fact, when I had the original meetings with the oncologist, surgeon, he was right in the room with all of the discussions and everything. So he's seen pictures, radiology pictures. He knows the radiation, the healthy tips for that. I think sometimes he was probably more worried in a sense than I was because he could see changes, but he would always tell people, I didn't know exactly what to say, what to do until further as he began to understand the process, the recovery period and everything. And we've even had my oncologist come to our church to speak to our congregation about breast cancer.
Right. That's a fella that really loves you. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yes.
I had to throw that on in there. That's all part of the process.
Oh yes.
All right, and I know he's watching tonight. Okay. Okay, so Sister Curry asked, does child obesity have a Sunday for focus? Sister Nettie, we used to have that weekend, the Let's Move weekend, but we don't have particular focus. I think Sister Nettie they can select their own Sunday if they want to do something or.
Yeah, I think that's probably a great idea. And particularly if there's a plan to let that be a kickoff for some kind of, even if it's a small, but an ongoing and consistent activity. So, however that looks locally in your church, I think would be a fantastic community, faith-based and community effort.
Okay, Sister Copper, Smash, are you a seasoned saint?
I'm getting close. I'm getting close.
Yeah, but I guess because they ask you asked all the you knew all the information so well.
And the reason why is because I do work with our seasoned saints and they know I love them. I do. And there's such an encouragement too, to me, because again, they show great testimonies of God's grace and mercy, because even with their health conditions, they are still testifying about the goodness of God. And they still want to do and move. I tell them I always remember about Joshua, how he said, he was 85 and he told Joshua, I'm as good as I was back then. And many of our seasoned saints, if you think about it, because of what they've gone through, they are able to share with us. And I did note the importance of gardening with not only just our seasoned saints, even if they can't get down into the soil, but they can at least say, okay, go pull up that weed, go take this shovel over, because you can encourage young people to come out and garden with the older ones who may not be able to get it on the ground, but they can tell you to go take that shovel and dig deep, pull up that weed or something. So that's a way to socialize and to connect. So I'm looking forward to my seasoned saint years.
All right, and then before the age of season saint, that is moved. Some people started at 50 with AARP, and some started at 60, and then some people everybody started at 60, and moved up to 70. So right now I think 70 is but as people getting closer to that, then they say it'll be 80, then it'll be 90, then it'll be 100, so whatever,
And these are some good looking seasoned saints. Our seasoned saints look wonderful. Yes, and AARP is wonderful. And I did see some comments about centers. Our local neighborhood centers are great social activity pieces or forms for us. But a lot of times our churches have spaces. So if the
And our
church or the
churches and our
pastor,
churches are automatically centers.
yeah, and our churches are our social network too. So encourage the social activities that we have there and tying it all in to the fact that we're stewards of our own health. And who created us in his image and after his likeness? Nobody but God.
All right. Well, look, we're at the 10 o'clock hour on the East Coast, so we're gonna wrap up the Q&A for here, and we'll stay on for Zoom. But thank you all. This has just been phenomenal. Usually by this time we have no band on it, but it's been growing tonight. We have some great speakers. We appreciate you all. So just hang tight, and we'll open up to those on Zoom. Thanks for all your thoughtful questions and comments. Wow, I mean, y'all were just something else, and y'all really encouraged Pastor Richmond Johnson tonight and the work that he's doing out there in the far west. All right, our next webinar is October 7th, our National Church Safety and Security Month, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Quick update: our Sisters Against Breast Cancer will update Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. You may join us on the web and social media. Our webpage again, HOPENBC.com. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. And realize that Facebook is starting to delete a lot of the videos on the Facebooks, but you can always catch them on our YouTube page. Our Health to Service resources are available. Download that information, and know that we are there pushing, trying to make sure that we do everything we can to make us the healthiest major denomination in the country as measured by the ABCs. All right. Forget if you want to enroll in our training, if you'd like to get an in-person training, you can call 901-603-0762, 901-603-0762. We appreciate your feedback. Would you kindly complete our webinar survey? We pasted the link in the chat, and it's an NBC online webinar survey. Now, we appreciate the tireless work of our NBCUSA Hope team. Dr. Desi Levy, Sister Lottie Minor, I might know her, Sister Nettie Johnson, Pastor Dexter Moraney, Sister Ellen McKnight Hill, Dr. Felisa Washington, Minister Geraldine Moore, Sister Loretta Miller, Dr. Lavora Williams, Sister Bettina Campbell, Dr. Marion Talley, of course, our most able technical moderator, Brother Thomas Duke Robinson. Our 7 awesome regional coordinators. You saw Pastor Daniel Blackburn in Northeast, Sister Brooklyn Rogers, Southeast, Pastor Bernard Montgomery, Southwest 1, Dr. Linda Copper, Southwest 2, Sister Teresa Fales, Far in the Midwest, Tafara Robinson in the West, and you met him tonight, Pastor Richmond Johnson in the Far West. Connect with your regional coordinator. Email info@hopenbc.com. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We know some of you may have additional questions or comments, so we'll formally close out our webinar on tonight. Yes, all good things must come to an end. And but don't forget to join us next week in Kansas City. We'll see you on Tuesday, October 7th, 2025, 7:30 p.m. Central Time for our next TempleCare Matters webinar. Before we close, we want to spotlight our president, Dr. Boise Kimber, who reminds us we are changing the course, not our conviction. The gospel still works. This has been a production of the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated, the nation's most collaborative religious denomination. God bless you and God keep you is our prayer.